Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me. This is Michael Vasquez with the Binghamton Political Buzz Examiner.com, and I'm speaking to you today from Owego, and in Owego, New York, at the Parkview Diner, and we're speaking with some of the members of the Rebuild Owego Party as they're having a meet and greet with the local residents. And if we get lucky, we're going to have a couple of conversations with the mayor, Kevin Millar, and some of the candidates, and we'll ask them some questions and let you see what their answers are. It's a busy event, as you can tell. It's a little crowded, but we'll do our very best. This is Michael Vasquez with the Binghamton Political Buzz Examiner.com. I'm in Owego, New York at the moment, and I'm speaking with Mayor Kevin Millar, and he's taken a moment out of his schedule today to speak with us and we're at the Rebuild Owego Party event tonight.
Correct. Meet the candidate event. Yep.
Okay.
At Parkview Hotel.
Parkview Hotel. Thank you. I knew I left out something. Mayor Millar, last time we had spoken to you was actually about a year ago. There was a little bit of a controversy at the time, and I just wondered, how did that work out?
Well, the survey at that time, I don't think was tabulated, or if it was not. This was a survey that was put out by my opponent at the time. I don't think that the survey was tabulated. It was totally an inauthentic survey. I mean, it was mailed back to his office, and it had skewed numbers on it. And when some of these people got on the board lately, well, not lately, about a year and a half ago, probably November, they came up with a similar survey. Well, actually, we hired a firm, Siena Research Institute, to do a survey. They came back with around 32 questions, a lot of, local interest kind of questions. Some of the people on the board who put out the last survey thought there were too many questions and that they were going to skew the results. So they chopped it down to the 4 questions that were in the survey that was mailed out that wasn't supposed to be mailed out, plus 3 other questions. And personally, I voted against it because I thought it still had skewed numbers in there that were going to be misleading to village residents. In the interim, a couple of village residents went to court to sue to stop the survey from being sent out. They went to court. The court did a temporary restraining order against sending it out. That was January 8th. They went back to court, I think January 28th, I think it was, and I might have the dates wrong, but anyway, the next time they went back, the judge said, well, we have to ask Siena Research Institute if they want to participate in this legal process. So he keep this temporary restraining order in effect until March 28th.
Okay. Well, I believe the organization last time was called a Positive Change, and I believe they've changed their name this time.
Correct, yeah, they changed their name to I think it's the Owego Taxpayers First, or Taxpayers First.
Taxpayers First, yeah. Okay. So they have changed their names after the last scandal.
Yeah.
Well, enough about that covers the past, but now that we have you here in front of us today, what's the future? What's going on with Owego?
Well, my primary objective is delivering critical services at a reasonable price. By critical services, I mean police department and the fire department primarily, although DPW is also obviously critical. The tax cap, we've kept under the tax cap at a struggle. I'm not sure if we're going to, we've had a hard time staying under the tax cap in the past 3 years. We just do less. You don't do more with less. I mean, unless you started out with too much to begin with, and we by no means did. I think most of upstate, and I know Tioga County and most Tioga County municipalities were running pretty lean before this incentive to consolidate villages into towns, which personally I don't think makes a whole lot of financial sense. I don't think you save as much money as some people think. And and a lot of people in the village want an intact village. You know, they want the village history, they want the village control of fire and police.
So they want to keep everything the same historical
correct
culture.
Yeah.
Okay. Looking forward, March 15th is the date of the election.
Yes.
And how do you feel?
You know, I'm always cautiously optimistic. I never am too confident because I always like to do everything possible up until the last minute, because if you don't, then you lose. You're going to be doubting, well, I should have went to this, I should have done that. So basically,
one extra handshake.
Basically, I just go all out for the hunt, especially the last 4 weeks.
Well, can understand that. It's always that last handshake. That you just need one more.
Yeah.
Whether you win or lose, it's always that last handshake.
Yeah.
For any of the viewers that I have in Tioga County and Owego, is there anything that you would like to say to them about the race?
Well, I think some of the things that the Rebuild Owego Party is looking to do is, well, one thing we have already done, and it's not just us, it's a board decision, obviously, but I think we've taken the lead on a lot of cost-saving measures. We've switched all of our indoor lighting to LED lighting, which is a lot cheaper and a lot less maintenance costs. That's going to save us around $9,000 a year. We are in the process of starting to buy back our street lights. Now that's going to be a somewhat long process, but that will reduce our cost of street lighting immensely. I think currently we're paying around $225,000, $250,000 a year in street lighting. It'll probably cut that in half, if not in a third. So that's a big savings there.
Huge savings, yeah.
We're also looking at partnering with a solar energy firm of some kind. We put out a request for proposal about 2 or 3 weeks ago to participate in what's called a PPA, purchase participation agreement, where we will basically buy our electricity from them, and that'll be about a 25% savings in our electric bills. So what I'm looking at is ways to save money, because it's hard to raise money, so I'm looking at saving it.
That's a great outlook, and I'm sure that people, when they're looking at in March, they're going to be considering that.
Yes,
and,
I hope so.
we definitely wish you the best on that. And of course, we're always looking forward to speaking to you again in the future, no matter what happens. And we wish you great luck on the 15th.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me. This is Michael Vasquez with the Binghamton Political Buzz Examiner.com. I'm speaking now with Mr. Patrick Cartwright, who is a candidate for the Village of Owego trustee, and he's with the Rebuild Owego Party. And we're just going to take a few moments on the meet and greet of candidates to pull them aside and speak with them for a few moments. And we want to thank you for giving us that opportunity.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Mr. Cartwright, tell me, what made you get into politics?
I don't want to call it politics, you know. It's a village election, and I've been very opinionated. I haven't liked the things that I've seen going on, and I felt that if I'm going to voice my opinion, I have to be willing to do the job. And so I figured that's a good way to get into it. Can't affect a change unless you're part of the solution. So.
And that's always interesting. A lot of people, for the first time, they get motivated. Was there a specific issue that motivated you, or something that you're looking to do going forward?
The specific issue is the Village of Owego Police Department. Members of the other party have voted several times to abolish the police department and not hire police officers, and essentially crippled our department over the summer when we had the most crime. And we were left at one point with 3 full-time officers to cover a 24-hour shift, which is not feasible at all. So I was very outspoken. Being former law enforcement officer myself, I support all local law enforcement, and knowing the needs of our community going forward, I wanted to be part of the solution, and I couldn't do that unless I ran for office.
You mentioned you were in law enforcement.
I was the area's only New York State peace officer dedicated to the investigation of animal cruelty. I did that from 2003 to 2005, and I boast the state's only 100% conviction rate.
That's an impressive record. Let me ask you, so obviously the police department is one of your key concerns,
It is.
and to make sure that the village is safe going forward. What other big issue is something that you're thinking that voters would connect with you on?
The fire department. We've had a lot of controversy with our fire department. They've, over the last couple of years, they have felt like they've been neglected. And then we've had recently the request to abolish the fire department. And that's not something I support. I also was a lieutenant with the Nichols Fire Department for a number of years and the emergency coordinator at Taga Downs. So I've been involved in that as well. And knowing the vital services that are needed and the education that our volunteers have, they need somebody in office that's going to stick up for them as well and protect our people.
You have a very impressive resume. I have to ask, how old are you?
I'm 32.
That's a lot in 32 years.
It is a lot, but I take an active role. I love my community, and you only live once, so you got to be out there. You got to be willing to do what's needed and move forward in life.
Oh, absolutely. Now I have a lot of readers, a lot of viewers of my work, and this is pretty. If there was something specific that you wanted to say to them. Well, before I even ask that, let me ask you this. What's the response been like when you're going out and speaking to the other village members and residents? How are they looking at your campaign? How do you feel?
I'm very optimistic. Everybody that I've talked to has been very supportive. They want to change. They're not happy with who's in office now, and they'd like to see this continued rhetoric of let's get rid of OPD, let's get rid of the fire department, the cycle for years, to go away. And they also want somebody that's going to look past their 2-year term and getting reelected to let's look at the long-term effects of Owego, not let's look at my current campaign.
So you have a long-term aspect. You're looking for the future of Owego, not just this election, but how to better the community forward.
That's exactly right. I think that anybody that's in a political office, especially when it's a local election like the Village of Owego, needs to look at a long-term solution, not a short-term, what's going to get me reelected in 2 years, what are my voters going to like right now. They need to look at what's best for our community for the next 100 years, the next 200 years. Because a community that's been here for so long, if we keep looking at just the short term, then we're not going to have a long term.
It's a very interesting philosophy. Not everyone has it. I find it quite interesting. Let me ask you, which was what I was going to ask before. Looking forward, if for those who haven't had a chance to meet you yet, some of my readers and some of my viewers, if you could speak to them in the Owego community, and this is their chance to meet you, what would you like to say to them?
I'd like them to know that Owego's been my home and will continue to be my home. I was away for a short time. We came back, we bought a flood house. Right after the flood, we've renovated that house. We're looking at other houses to continue to buy and fix. I want them to know that voices can be heard. And the votes have been, I know what's in your best interest. I know what's in, my agenda moving forward, when it really needs to be what's in the public's best interest. What do they want? And the public hasn't been listened to and has been made clear. And that's not something that's acceptable to me. Door to open government, open communication. Anybody who wants my cell phone number can have it. If they have a problem, call me and I'd be happy to help them.
That's a wonderful open door policy. You don't see that a lot in many politics these days. But I do want to thank you for this. I don't want to take you away from meeting the rest of the constituents here. But we do thank you for giving us a moment to speak with you. And we wish you the very best on March 15th.
Thank you very much.